Hello everybody, welcome back to Smut Salon. My name is Annie, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and last month I started a series on this channel called Smut Salon where I read smutty books and I talk about them. Before we get into this video, I just really wanted to say thank you so much for everyone who watched the first video. I read the Devil's Night series by Penelope Douglas. If you want to go check that out, I will leave a link in the description. But it really means a lot to me. I was honestly a little bit nervous about starting this series. I wasn't sure how it was going to be received, but I actually think that the first episode of Smut Salon is one of my most viewed videos on my channel at this point, which, I mean, it makes me really happy. I'm really excited about that. And I'm really excited to carry on with this series. In saying that though, this month's episode of Smut Salon didn't really go according to plan. This video was going to be a little bit different. If you watched the last video, you'll know I definitely did like more of a vlog style kind of video where I read parts of the book or most of the book and then updated, gave a little like clip of what I thought and then moved on to the next book. That didn't really happen this month. Really can't explain why. I just couldn't bring myself to vlog while I was reading the book series that I picked for this month, and I ended up just writing down all of my thoughts on the notes app on my phone. I think I'm going to post the notes, like just screenshot of the notes on my Instagram, so if you want to go check that out, I will leave a link in the description for that as well, probably to like the specific post in general, so if you want to go check that out, you can. So the series that I picked was the Bagana Trilogy by Thalessa. This is like a paranormal fae romance. I picked it because obviously October, month of Halloween, I thought a paranormal romance would be kind of great. And I had seen this series all over TikTok. Like, when I say everyone was raving about the first book in the series, which I can't remember now that I have to say it. What is it called? Rhapsodic, that's what it's called. Everyone talks about Rhapsodic on TikTok, usually in videos where people recommend steamy books. So I thought this would be a really great pick, obviously, if it's like there were lots of people saying it was really smutty and really great romance-wise. So that's the series that I picked. There are it's a trilogy, 3 books. I read all 3. And what did I think? I'm not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed. Not in the series itself. I actually quite enjoyed the books. They definitely weren't the best paranormal romance that I've ever read, but I enjoyed myself while I was reading them. I really came to like the plot. I was not expecting the plot to be so good, but I really enjoyed the plot. But the steam was lacking. Smuttiness, not so much. I don't know if it's because last month I read the Devil's Night series, which is very like smutty erotica kind of, lots and lots of sex basically. But this one, in the first book, I'm pretty sure, if I'm remembering correctly, there are 3 smutty scenes. There are 3 sexual scenes in the book, and they go from like quite vague, tame, to a little bit more explicit, to them having sex, and that was like explicit, but not even as explicit as I wanted it to. It was still like pretty PG compared to not only like the Devil's Night series that I read in the first video, but just like other paranormal romances that I read. It was quite tame. I don't know what else to say. It was quite tame. And because I'd seen all these TikTok people saying that this book was really steamy and really smutty and like the heat level was up here, I was a bit let down. I will say though, the second sex scene in the first book, in Rhapsodic, was really hot. I did really like that. I'm not gonna lie, I was very surprised, I guess isn't the word, but I kind of was surprised by how like good that particular scene was. Like, that is a standout from the whole series. That one sex scene like was probably my favorite sex scene out of the whole series. It was pretty good. But I would probably say that's like a personal thing. I understand that when you read like smut and erotica, like different things do it for different people, and obviously different people like different things. Like for me, there was some of the language used in some of the sex scenes in the series wasn't my favorite. I think one of the notes I wrote in the third book was that it had some of the worst like sex talk I had ever read. Like the conversations that the main characters had during sex, some of the worst I've ever read. So that wasn't so great. So honestly, I was a little bit hesitant about sitting down and talking about this series because it wasn't as smutty as I was hoping, and I mean, even then I didn't even like it that much. But of course, this is a series, I thought it would still be good to talk about it. I just realized I haven't really told you guys about the plot. So basically the plot, a quick little rundown. The Bagana trilogy, it's kind of like an urban fantasy, or at least that's kind of what it reminded me of. It's like a fae kind of romance. So it's like set in the real world and supernatural people live in this world. Our main character Callie is a siren, so she can make people do what she wants. And basically, and I guess it's about her relationship with the Bagana. The Bagana, who we find is a fae. I don't know how much to tell you. I don't know how much to spoil it. Basically, he is part of the supernatural world. He's a guy that makes lots of deals with people. He makes bargains. He bargains. He's the Bagana. He bargains. But it's very much like if you make a deal with him, you owe him something in return. It's he's like one of the most dangerous supernatural creatures in this world. It's mentioned, but no one is able to catch him because no one actually really knows who he is, except for Callie. Callie and the Bagana meet when she is 16 and they become friends, I guess. It's which I thought was a little bit sus when I first started reading it, but they are genuinely friends. And like the first book is like split into parts where you see flashbacks of Callie when she's 16, and then also like present day Callie and her current relationship with the Bagana. And that is really not at all what it's about, but also like if you're going to go into reading the series, I don't want to spoil too much. That's where the series starts. And then there's like a whole really actually intense plot to do with the fairies and like the Fae kingdoms, which I thought was really, really cool. I actually really liked the plot. Not something I really expected. Like, I never expected to sit down in a video where I'm talking about smutty books and say the smut was bad but the plot was good. Honestly, if I was like I would just expect it to be the other way around, but not the case in this book. So as I said, the smut was like a little bit of a letdown, but honestly, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I definitely think this is like a good romance series. I think it does a really great job of building the relationship between Callie and the Bagana. I did also consider the fact that the series only follows one couple, whereas the Devil's Night series follows a different couple in each book. So I thought that might have like had something to do with how I like considered the smutty levels. Like I thought maybe it's not as smutty as I expected because it builds up tension. We have time to build up tension between this one relationship, whereas in the Devil's Night series you kind of just gotta get right into it because you only have one book with each relationship. So I did consider that, but I do just think in general definitely more PG, just in general, and because of that I would honestly recommend this to people who are looking to get into spicier paranormal romances or romances in general, but you don't want to go into something that is just hot and heavy, like really intensely sexual. This, at least to me, maybe I've been reading too many romances, I don't know, but it definitely, as I said, there's only like 3 sex scenes in the first book, only one actual scene where they like have sex, and even then it's definitely not as like graphic as a lot of other steamy smutty books are. But yeah, because of it's more like PG smut, that makes no sense, but you get what I mean. I would definitely recommend this to newcomers to more smutty books, more smutty romances. I think this could be a really good series to start with, especially if you like fae romances, paranormal romances. On TikTok, I'm pretty sure a lot of people recommended this if you like Sarah J Maas. So you know, if you like Sarah J Maas but you wished her books were hotter, give this a go. Obviously Sarah J Maas writes young adult, and this is very much adult. This is not young adult. As I said, I had more thoughts when I was reading, and that's kind of why I really want the series to be more of like vlog type videos where I kind of have a more like in the moment reaction and like more in the moment thoughts on what I'm thinking of the books that I'm reading. So as I said, I will post all of my notes that I took on Instagram. Go check that out. But that's basically Smut Salon episode 2. It definitely doesn't feel as like exciting as the first one, so I'm sorry about that. But if you read the Bagana trilogy, please let me know what you have thought about it. If you thought it was steamy, I really can't tell if I was just like expecting too much smut from this. I really can't. Like I can't tell if the books are actually smutty, and I'm just like, it was just a step down from the Devil's Night series. I really can't tell. So please let me know your thoughts. Overall, I'm giving the series 3 stars. I think I gave like each book a 3 out of 5 stars. So, but now obviously this video is coming out a lot later than I said it would. I think I said it was going to come out early November, and it was meant to. I was already meant to have read another series for this series, but I mean it's the end of November, so we're just going to change things up a little bit. So I've technically picked a series to read for December. I'm pretty sure this is going to go up at the end of November, and I'm going to say that the next episode of the Smut Salon series is going to come out probably either like mid-December or like sometime before Christmas. Like in my head I'm thinking around the 20th, sometime around the 20th of December, mid to the 20th of December. That is when the next video is going to come out. And the series that I have picked for the next episode, I cannot remember the name, hang on. Okay, the series that I've picked is called The Fiery Tales, and these are giving me kind of historical fiction romances. I have been really into historical fiction romances this year. I don't know what it is about them, but I love them, especially if they're smutty. And from what I know of this series, it is smutty retellings of fairy tales. From what I can tell, the first book is a Cinderella retelling, and I can't remember how many books are in the series off the top of my head, but there are a few of them, each of them based off of a different fairy tale, I assume. And I don't know, the historical like romance vibe and then also the fairy tale vibe just kind of reminded me of Christmas. I don't know, Christmas is kind of like a fairy tale magical time. And so I thought, why don't we read some historical fairy tale smut? I will also leave a link in the description to the Goodreads page, so you can add it to your TBR if you want. And if you want to read the first book or all of the books before mid-December, when the next video will hopefully be going out, if everything goes according to plan this time, which I hope it does, then that could be really, really fun. But that is it for episode 2 of the Smut Salon. Sorry for the change in like the how would you even say it? The content. I'm sorry for the change in like the content in general, and I'm sorry again that this came out so late, but I really appreciate you watching anyway, and I really, really hope that you'll join me for next month's video. Also, please, like, if you want to see my thoughts, more in-depth thoughts on the Bagana trilogy, go check out my Instagram. Link will be down below to the post in particular. But that is all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will see you guys next month with another Smut Salon episode.